And of course, represent Nigeria at the basketball league. Only one country will be representing the country at the basketball league at the continent.
And that's the most important phase of this. He who wins the last one wins all. And I think that Rivers Supers are getting up for this one. The captain Anthony Coco, a man who has been there, in the past 7 years, won all the titles with the Rivers Supers. He's very optimistic that they can do it. And if you look at the exploit of Rivers Supers, you will not deny the fact that they have what it takes to really change the narrative. So for me, I'm keeping my expectations are high, and I'm thinking that we can also cue into this. It's just about achieving something, and Rivers Supers have what it takes to to get in it. If they play the way they played, because I saw the game against the Lagos Legends, and that was a very difficult one for them. It ended in overtime. And I can tell you that with that effort of Rivers Supers, that determination, not just because they're playing at home, but because they want to be at a continent. They're used to being at a continent, and they just want to continue. And so you win one, you win all, because it comes with double title. You win it and you pick the ticket for bars. So, I don't expect it to be easy, because other groups like Boko City Chiefs, Lagos Legends, Nigerian Custom, they've also gone to regroup, and they'll come back better than expected. So we'll keep our finger crossed. I tell you to be fireworks in Port Harcourt.
Final phase of the basketball Super 4 gets underway in just about 48 hours or so here in the city of Port Harcourt, and 4 teams are expected to compete, and one will emerge. Talking about the 4 teams, Legends from Lagos will be one. Of course, the Customs, of course, are there. There's Boko Chiefs and Rivers Hoopers. Promises to be thrilling because Rivers Hoopers will 7 times appear winners of this same basketball league premier title here in Nigeria. Do you think pedigree will matter, given that Lagos Legends is a barely new team, but the only team that beat them are the Super 8?
Yeah, but I don't think that, 2 games are alike. You play first game, it was a difficult one for them. Rivers Supers did all they could do in that encounter. Somehow in overtime, anything could have happened, and I think that they did all they could have done in that encounter. Lagos Legends were just too naggy. They wouldn't give them any chance for them to express, for them to get maximum result. But I think that is an eye-opener for Ogo Daudu and his men. You don't expect that they are going to achieve this like other years easy. So they're going to fight it, or they will slug it out with all these big teams, to pick the ticket. And so that when you represent Nigeria, you know that the picking the ticket wasn't easy at all. But for the Supers, they have shown consistency, and that is one thing that is different from other teams. The level of consistency and the level of experience in that team, Isaiah, Coco these days don't even get to see much play as expected, but some of the guys and the experience, that they have, Semeka and others, I think they will bring in their A game to achieving the result, which is what matters at this point.
Well, Basketball League Super 4 gets underway in just about 48 hours here in Port Harcourt, and is aimed at determining the winner of the Basketball League title in 2025, and of course representative of Nigeria at the Basketball League Africa. Meanwhile, I will continue with more latest sports story. Nigeria delivered what has been described as a commanding performance at its first ever archery tournament in Africa. Of course, making bold statement on the continental stage and showcasing the nation's growing strength in Ivory Coast. Echo, this is not a very popular sport, but out there in Côte d'Ivoire, Trenchville, in Abidjan, we saw Nigeria making a very, very bold statement.
Yeah, in archery, it's a known sport, but we have not really, except for tournaments like this, we have not really, shown prominence. Okay, so when you hear that Nigeria participated in sports like this, you just want to know how far it all went. But I think that we also did not, take anything by chance. We just went there, did our part, and I'm thinking that in the subsequent edition of the program, we'll have more time. It was a historic one for Nigeria participating in this particular one, and I am also thinking that as time progresses, we can have hope for a podium finish, because that is one thing. It's not about participating, it's about getting podium finishes. But do we have the archers that can get this one? Well, we'll keep our finger crossed.
Host nation Côte d'Ivoire turned out to be, medal winners at the event.
Yes, Obo Cedric of Côte d'Ivoire, finished very strongly in that particular one. Was able to get this thing, strong podium finish. I think he got the bruise. And it means that for them, they are the host nation. It's expected that they also showed class.
Well, let's hope that we can get more of this tournament and aim at 3 or more archers at the for Nigeria. Meanwhile, Nigeria athletes are expected to fight for podium successes in various finals of the Islamic Solidarity Games. These games has been on for a couple of days now, and it should come to an end today in Saudi Arabia. What do you expect from Nigerians? It's been, let's say, a good one, no doubt, at this outing in the, Saudi Arabia. We have some of top athletes expected to be on the podium today.
Yes, so far we have won a total of 17 medals. Okay, so if we have won 17 medals and we still have, other areas of winning medals, you just think that the area of athletics, the area of javelin, the men's weightlifting, you talk about, other areas, I think that we still have a very strong chance of winning at least more medals, and this is fantastic. If we go to bigger global tournaments and we're able to win 17 medals so far, it tells us we can even do more. So I'm very optimistic that at the end of the day, some of these ones are in the finals, and expectedly, maybe you get to see them, if some of them in the semi-finals too. So I expect that we're still going to get some medals, added to the 17 that already have been won.
Talking about getting medals, expectations are in javelin, no doubt about it, and we just hope that in the discus throw as well, we have to be in the final full of finish. Like you mentioned there, 6 gold, 7 silver, and 4 bronze medals already been won by Nigeria. But we expect that, like I mentioned, javelin and the 4x100 meters relay event should throw up a gold medal for Nigeria as the Islamic Game comes to an end today in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Meanwhile, we'll go to boxing now quickly. Former heavyweight champion Anthony Joshua will fight YouTuber Jake Paul in what has been described as a rare professional bout in Miami, New York. That comes up in December this year. Echo, Anthony Joshua, what business does he have with the YouTuber?
I think it's just a fight. He's just stepping in to fill up a space that was, a fight that was supposed to be between Jake Paul and an opponent, and then finally, how matchroom boxing, headed by that promoter, the Horn, very ambitious promoter. He feels that Anthony Joshua, he said that Anthony Joshua will have a fight this year. We thought it was a joke. Finally, we get to see how far, he's going about it, and I'm not surprised at all. Fighting Jake Paul. Paul has been is a known name, having posted, YouTube that has millions of followers. So you think that as a lightweight or cruiserweight fighter coming into the heavyweight, he's shown that he can also fight the big guys. So Anthony Joshua coming back, resurrecting more like, to show his class among the big guys or the elite level. Maybe getting a fight like this one in Miami would be a good stand for him. But I keep across. I hear that he's not more than 8 rounds, so we'll see how it goes. But Anthony Joshua will be set to this one. I don't think it will be an easy fight at all for the both boxers. So a lot of people will just want to see how far. But it's more for Anthony Joshua if he gets to win this one.
We're talking about Anthony Joshua up against the YouTuber Jake. A lot of people believe it has to do with the financial incentive. Nearly $200 million is at stake for this one.
Yes, of course. I tell you that I've said it before that matchroom boxing promoter, the Horn does not go, into a bout that nothing comes out. It's whether it's the top listed bout for the day or not. He wants his boxers to achieve financial incentive, and Anthony Joshua is also a big name in the sport. So expectedly, that to be. A lot of money is involved in this particular one. That is also what promises a lot of people are expecting, because when there is financial incentive like this, that the bout will be, well grazed. And for me, I just keep my finger crossed on how it will pan out when it comes December. Talking
about expectation, a lot of boxing fans around the world, especially Nigerians, want Anthony Joshua, 2 times world heavyweight title champion, to return back to the apex of boxing. And of course, he needs boxers with a better pedigree than YouTuber Jake Paul. Well, let's get off to that one. Of course, go to the Ultimate Fight Championship 322, where Islam Makhachev is already eyeing his first ever welterweight title defense against former champion Kamaru Usman. Kamaru Usman of Nigeria and New Zealand is one man too who seems to be winding up his Ultimate Fight Championship career.
For Usman, I think that this fight is more like calling him out to come and fight, and I think when you are called out,
it's lost several times, 4 times or so this year.
Yeah, this year, and he won. I think the last time he won, and so basking in the euphoria of that victory, just maybe he wants to fight, and I keep my finger crossed. But he's going to fight a man who has been very good. I think the last time he fought was against Jack Dalla, and he got to win that particular one. So Usman needs to prepare massively if he must get something, from Makachev.
Okay, we have been joined by our friend China Achiro. China Achiro, of course, is a sports legend here in Nigeria. Award winner, only recently was given an award by the Sports Writers Association of Nigeria as a legend of the sports in over 60 years. China Achiro, nice to have you on Sports Talk.
Yeah, good morning, Syria.
Yes,
good morning, Syria.
Nice to have you. Yes, there has been some qualifiers at the latest World Cup event. Coming up in the United States of America and, of course, Canada and Mexico. First, something interesting before we look at the qualifiers. There is a small country, yes, very small, I must tell you. Over just about 150 persons make up that country that will be going to the World Cup. Curacao, from the CONCACAF region, has just qualified for the World Cup. Nigeria, with over 200 million people, will not be going to the World Cup. What do you make of the qualifier of Curacao for the World Cup? No country as small as 156 persons has been to the FIFA World Cup.
It's not about numbers, it's about preparation, right? Because if it's about numbers, then India will win the World Cup. China will win the World Cup. So it's not about numbers, it's about preparation. And for Curacao, yes, if you check now, it will probably be a team of part-timers. Then again, the federation where they come from also matters. It will talk about the kind of competition there, and a lot of times these smaller countries, they look for, should I say, they trace the lineage of their people in other parts of Europe and bring them back home. Like Cape Verde, it's similar, if you remember. But for a country with that more amount of people qualifying for the World Cup, that should be the story of the World Cup. That should really be the story of the World Cup, and we really can't wait. And to them, it won't be about winning, it won't be about drawing, it's about the fact that we are in the World Cup, participating in the World Cup. For Nigeria, we need to plan another day. What more can be said about Nigeria?
Well, what more can be said about Nigeria? We're talking about those who have qualified for the World Cup, and we mentioned there that Curacao, a very small country in the CONCACAF region, an island, so to say, has qualified for the World Cup. And like China did allude, it's not about number. Last time we saw a small country as that was, I think, Iceland, and that's Iceland. That was in 2018 or so. Epo, what has number got to do with it?
No, like China said, I don't think it's about number. I think it's about, the World Cup without event like this or historic trends like this doesn't make the World Cup very exciting. So I'm happy that we'll get to see some of these countries having the opportunity and privilege to qualify. Cape Verde in Africa, qualifying for the first World Cup, it's beautiful. And I think that is an eye-opener to seeing that, come on, the more this expansion from FIFA, the more room other countries who, ordinarily should not even get close to qualifying, we have the opportunity to be there, and that makes it loving because it's about unity and diversity. We want to see different culture, different countries who you do not believe, but somehow they get enough to be part of it. So that's the exciting thing about it, and for me, it will be a historic turn. It will be one that will be ever remembered. Like China said, it's not about winning. I don't think they will come down. It will be surprising. Any other thing they achieve come next year's World Cup will be an added advantage and an added history for them. So it's about going there. Let's get to see how they will, fare in the group stages. But I tell you, it will be one of the biggest, preview ahead of the World Cup next year.
China, talking about Curacao qualifying for the World Cup, you said number, it doesn't matter. Do you think the coach, coaching does matter? Curacao has a Dick Advocaat, and China, you there? We just hope that we'll have China actually join us. The technical issues affecting him joining us via Zoom there. But still looking at qualifications for the World Cup, Echo, we now have Panama and Haiti, returning to the FIFA World Cup next year. Is China there? China, are you there? Okay, we're still having technical issues, and we hope it will be all sorted out before we wrap up this show. Panama and Haiti are the other qualifiers for the latest qualifiers for the FIFA World Cup. And talking about Haiti reminds me of Congo DR. Congo DR's last appearance at the World Cup was way back in 1974. Same year where we had Haiti as the first and last time they were at the World Cup. What is it about teams who have been away from the football tournament 50 years plus returning back to the tournament?
I think it's just a quest to do the right things. And when you have a federation or you have players and you have the technical crew who are determined to changing the narrative, you get to see them. And these opportunities are even more in regions like Africa, CONCACAF, and in the Asia, because sometimes you see a country develop its football. It doesn't matter how far they fared before, but you just see a narrative being changed. And I think that's the case of Curacao, Panama, and Haiti. And I'm not surprised at all, because when you give opportunity to young lads who have a lot, some of them are playing in top leagues. They are not. We don't get to know them because they are not as pronounced as other. But when you bring them together as a team and you have the right coach to man them, you get to see something like this. And for me, I'm happy with Panama and all that, because we're going to see some of the teams growing up, and that hunger will be there because they have not been for a very long time in the World Cup.
Talking about Curacao going to the World Cup, in their last fixture, they played against Jamaica, and they played out a goalless draw. They needed a draw to top their group, and that they have done conveniently to go straight to the World Cup without going through the qualifiers. But talking about going through the qualifiers, April, remember there is intercontinental qualifiers coming up in March next year, and that qualifier now has all of the 6 teams in there. There is Jamaica that drew against Curacao there. Suriname is already in that group. There is Panama, there is Haiti there, and of course from Africa there is Congo DR. This is the group where the Super Eagles meet narrowly, and the Congo DR will be going to see whether they can pick up one of the 2 tickets available via these intercontinental qualifiers. What do you make of the teams that have qualified? Suriname and of course Suriname, and of course we talked about Jamaica that drew with Curacao, Panama, Haiti, and of course Congo DR.
I think that will start with that of Africa. It's loving. It's loving to get to see Congo with the effort they played. I'm not surprised at all that they can get something from this particular one. I'm also very optimistic that it will take a team. I mean, you cannot predict the outcome from that team match. But one thing I can predict is that Congo will be very resilient and very physical when they play against these countries. Against Jamaica, their experience and some of the teams.
Bolivia in that group. Bolivia is more, and New Caledonia. But again, FIFA ranking will determine where you play.
It is. And I think that Congo have a very strong FIFA ranking, if you look at it. But Bolivia also has, they're very good. The South American team, I fear them most. For me, I think Bolivia will have a strong advantage to getting to the finals. I don't know about, since it's 2 countries that will be qualifying, I just wish that Congo will pick one of the slots. But, I mean, take nothing for granted. Teams like Curacao, teams like Panama, teams like Jamaica, you don't take those things for granted because they play good football. They are from the Americans and they want to be at the World Cup. That drive to be at the World Cup is even more. So I just hope that DR Congo will not go this far and then end up not showcasing their style when the continental playoffs comes up in March.
So bringing you briefs around the FIFA World Cup coming up in Mexico, Canada, and the United States of America. Latest qualifiers, we have Curacao, like I mentioned to you, as one of the latest qualifiers for the World Cup. Across Europe, Belgium and Spain are into the last day of the World Cup qualifiers. What do you make of it, Spain and Belgium qualifying?
Yeah, Spain and Belgium qualifying, and is good. I think that Croatia have also qualified, and I'm thinking that for the European teams, it will be it will be unheard of that Spain didn't qualify for a World Cup. You know, it will be very unheard of. And so that they've qualified shows that, yes, expectedly, these are the challenging teams. These are where the battle will begin. And the European countries have shown that when it comes to the World Cup, a lot of expectations are in, you know, for them. So for me, I'm just thinking that if we have all the big teams qualified from Europe, and we have, you know, other teams, the battle will always be between the European countries and maybe the South American countries. But for me, Spain is a top priority when it comes to World Cup qualifications.
Spain, no doubt, is a top priority. Former champions getting to the 2026 edition of the FIFA World Cup. Let's take a break now. When we return from a break, there's more to come because in football, Rivers United are already on their way to meet up a tie in the CAF Champions League Group first leg game. Beyond that, in tennis, Carlos Alcaraz is set to miss the Davis Cup final. Details of this and many more will be yours when we do return from the break. Stay with us.